Line charts. Perhaps the easiest way to improve a line chart is to avoid the legend. Well, let me explain you what I mean. What the legend does to the reader, it forces a lot of what I think is unnecessary eye movements. It forces the reader to make jumps and compare three different shades of blue, something which could be easily avoided if you put those labels right next to the lines themselves. Yes, it requires a bit of manual work, but it saves a lot of time on the side of the audience, so I encourage you to remove the legend and replace it with direct labels. Thing number 2. This is the most important thing about line charts. Remember that line charts are all about the trend. What's the most important thing about the line charts is whether you can see the trend clearly. For example, can you see whether the amount of incidents stays the same or falling in this chart? It's not rising clearly. No, neither can I. However, if I put the trend on the chart, we can see clearly it stays roughly the same. With this chart, well, we can see the beginning, that everything sort of falls down, but then the rest is history, right? We have no idea what is happening here, and maybe we should have an idea about what's happening here, because this is like half of the chart. And maybe we need to take a closer look, to zoom in, to produce a separate chart in this particular instance. And it's kind of clearer, but not exactly, so maybe we need to add trends. And now we can see that the yellow line is falling, the blue line is rising, and the green line roughly stays the same. And sometimes if you're hunting for trends, maybe it's worthwhile to produce a stacked area chart, because wow, what happened here? Maybe it needs our investigation. And finally, if you have more than 5 lines, you would probably need 2 graphs. Now, I really appreciate the effort. Whoever designed this chart really tried to make it readable, but I think it's ultimately a failure. It does take a lot of time to understand what's going on here. So if you have more than 5 data points, more than 5 lines, it will be a mess. You need to do something about it. Maybe you need 2 charts, maybe you need to prioritize, maybe you need to say, okay, these are primary lines, these are secondary lines, I will make them gray and invisible. I don't know, but you need to do something about it. Animation might help with complex charts. You present one trend, then the second trend, then the third trend. Yes, the result is a bit messy, but since you've guided your audience through the points, the end result is easier for them to digest. So, line charts, to conclude. Please avoid the legend. Please make sure the trend is visible. This is the most important thing about line charts. And 5 lines is the limit. If you have more than 5 lines, you need to do something.